Hey, what's up everyone? Last week I shared with you a new initiative called RowHero, which is geared to help masters coaches deal with the complexity and outright mind-boggling puzzle that is doing your lineups for a big regatta, especially multi-day events like Masters Regionals. Happy to say that a couple coaches are now working with us to try and do their lineups for this regionals coming up. And in this video, I'll take you through how we've evolved since last week. Stay tuned. So the first huge update is that we now work with sweep entries as well as sculling. No offense to the sweep rowers out there, but I started as a sculler and I coach a sculling team now, so that's where I started. But now we're dealing with all the complexities of assigning an equal number of ports and starboards to the same boat, which usually helps it go straight. Now that we're there, let me share with you the control that you have over the lineups that it creates. Okay, so whatever the final set of entries that you come up with is, I guarantee you there's two sets of requirements that you pay attention to. The first is what I call the must-haves. These are things that you have to do if you actually want to get your entries in. These could include rules of the regatta, but also rules for you to be able to put together a successful set of lineups. The second set of requirements I call nice-to-haves, and it's great to get as many of those as possible, but sometimes reality just gets in the way and you can't do it. So RowHero works in the same way. It has a set of must-haves and it has a set of nice-to-haves. Now, its must-haves and nice-to-haves may be different from yours, so listen up because I'm going to take you through what they are. So let's break this down. Here are the must-haves. So there's quite a few must-haves here, and I won't go through all of them, but I'll just call out a few. First one is rowers only row with other rowers in their group. As a coach, you can assign rowers into group based on any criteria you want. Maybe it's experience level, maybe it's size, or anything else. But then RowHero will take those groups and make sure that rowers are only boated within the groups. That gives you some measure of extra control over the lineups that are created. The second thing I'll call out is that there's enough time between events for every rower and for every hole to make that turnaround time. You have the power to say what your tolerance for that turnaround time between events is. So when RowHero creates your set of entries, there won't be any overlap for any boats or for any athletes. Now let's take a look at the nice-to-haves. There are fewer of these, but they're very important because they help us assess what makes one set of lineups better than another set of lineups. So a couple of things that I'll call out. One, rowers get at least the minimum number of races that you want them to have. This is up to you as a coach, and we try our very best to get people as many races as you want them to have. Next thing I'll call out, you can set up priority boats for your team. So if you're a sweep team, but you need to get some sculling entries in to give people their number of races, then we'll take care of that for you as well. But we're trying to give everyone as many sweep races as possible. Next, the sides that a rower is capable of. So you can be competitive on a side like port, but maybe you can row starboard but only in a pinch. This gives us the ability to say, okay, you're rowing port most of the time, and if we absolutely have to, then you can row starboard. And there are a few others there as well. So then RowHero will find thousands of combinations of entries that satisfy all of those must-have requirements and then also satisfy a few or as many as possible of those nice-to-have requirements. And so what happens is for every combination that it finds, it will give it a score based on those nice-to-have requirements. Now, the higher the score, the better it met all of those requirements. So we try and find what's the highest scoring set of entries within a reasonable amount of time and then ship that off to you for you to make a final decision. And if you find something that you don't like, you always have the power to change what you tell RowHero to generate and say, don't do that lineup or don't do those combinations of people. And it will work again and it will try and find all of those races for all your rowers. So listen, I'll be candid, we're working really hard to make this accessible, faster, and better for as many coaches as we possibly can. Because as you know, lineups are important to give rowers a great experience, but at the end of the day, we'd rather be rowing and out in the water instead of doing a lot of clerical work by hand. So if you're interested in using this year for regionals or Cascadia or any sort of other event, please get in touch. You can leave me a comment below, or you can email me at david@rowhero.com. Until then, I'll see you on the water.